so we can see your face. All right, we are live. My name is Pat Flynn, and we are with...
Hi, my name is Keanu.
What's up, everybody? We have some time to kill today because his sister is taking piano lessons. He's up next, and I just figured, you know what? Piano is going to get into any recordings that I do. Why not just go live and do this in real life and help you out? So what I would love to do for the Team Flynn community here, no matter who's here and how many people are here, I'd love to see you in the chat. I'd love to say hello.
Hi.
My son's here as well. I want him to see what it's like to just answer questions rapid fire, but I can't answer any questions if there are no questions. What's up? Hi from Da Nang, Vietnam. So we got a worldwide audience here and 23 people. That's great. Even if it was one person, it would be worth doing. So I don't go live very often, but this is a rare opportunity for you guys. Let's ask some questions. I got some answers for you. D says, how do I get you on an interview? Reach out to me, Pat at smartpassiveincome.com, and we'll coordinate. Maybe we'll make it work out. Maybe not. I don't know. We'll have to see. And I'd love to learn more about you and your show and what I could do to help you and the kinds of things you'd like to discuss, all those kinds of things. We got Hong Kong in the house. We got Mexico, Virginia. What do you know about Virginia?
Well, actually, it's one of the middle colonies because we're learning about the 13 colonies. And it was actually home to Jamestown.
To Jamestown.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. We should go visit there someday.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. He's studying a lot of history in school, which is really cool. We got Brisbane, Australia. Guess where we're going in a few weeks?
Australia.
And guess what part of Australia?
I don't know.
Brisbane. Like literally, we will be there in a couple weeks, Trent, for a wedding. Actually, not business stuff. But anyway, company that helped you create the Switch Pod. Product. PROUDUCT. Like proud and product at the same time. Product is awesome. Anthony says, OMG, he's huge. That's you.
Oh, me?
Yeah, because last time you've been on the show, I think you were like this tiny for scale. And look at that's like the size of your head now. Dutzcher Botte, I apologize for butchering your name, but best wishes from Germany. Dude, he just paid us some money to have his comment. $2.29, but not in US dollars.
It's in pounds.
I think it's in pounds. It's German.
Cool.
Thank you for that. I appreciate that. We're going to get a coffee or hot chocolate. Thanks to you. Excellent. Is the travel niche too saturated for blogs or podcasts? First of all, if you are feeling that a niche or a market is too saturated, number one, try to see that as a positive. You can see that as a positive in a couple ways. Do you know what it means when something is saturated? There's like too much of that. Like if you want to start a blog, you might be like, oh, there's too many blogs out there. It's too saturated. So that's just the word for like there's too much competition potentially. Too much sauce, yes. But we can see that as a positive. Number one, it's a proven market, right? Number two, there are areas to improve always. And because people exist in that space already, you can look to them to see where they might be lacking and where the holes might be. I highly recommend checking out my book, Will It Fly? Because it allows you to understand where those holes are and how to have conversations so you understand where you can sort of dive in and fill in those holes. We got Philadelphia in the house. You remember Philadelphia?
Oh, yeah, I remember Philadelphia.
What do you remember from Philadelphia?
That we ate Philly cheesesteaks. We got stuck there for an extra day.
We did.
Mm-hmm. There was also someone 3 blocks from us.
Oh, right here in the chat?
Yeah.
That's kind of scary. Yeah, Brian.
Hello from San Diego.
3 blocks from here. Well, that's great. No, he's not out the window, bud. Euros. Thank you, Ditcher. Euros.
Oh,
Euros.
Okay.
I don't know what these symbols mean, but we will. Anyway, let's see. Smart Don, how do I choose what to focus on when I have so many ideas, podcast services, and maintain income? I have dreams that aren't paying the bills. So the truth is, it's great to have many ideas. Ideas are endless, right? But nothing's going to happen unless you execute on them. But how do you choose which one to start with, right? You get lots of ideas, right?
Yeah.
Like, how do you, like when you get lots of ideas for different games you can play, what makes you choose one over the other?
Well, either I choose one because I've played it more, or maybe I haven't played it in a while.
Okay.
And all the other games I've been playing recently, so maybe I want something different. Or maybe someone like got me into that game.
Yeah.
Before like I got bored out of it, so maybe.
Here's what I would do. I like to think about what if I were to make decision A, and then think, well, for business, I'd think maybe a year ahead of time. If I'm playing a game, I might think, 20 minutes from now, would I have fun doing that? what would my life be like if I woke up every morning and that's what I did? Is that something that would get me excited, or would I eventually get bored of that? And then I go, okay, come back to real life. Then I make a decision on B. And then I imagine what life might be like if I chose that, and what I would wake up to, and what I would enjoy, and what that business model might look like. And then I come back and I do decision C. So I like to do what's called mind walking. Mind walking is when you, what do you see?
That guy gave us $2.
Yay,
Says you are
Brian.
not being creepy.
Just a fan. I work
Cool.
nearby. Thank you. I appreciate that. We're going to get another hot chocolate for his sister. Thanks to you. I appreciate that. John says, cool beard, Pat. Yeah, this is what I like to call launch beard. Launch beard because I launched my email marketing course not too long ago, and I just haven't shaved since. And part of it is because I just haven't had the time. But the other part of it is that it was a really lucky launch and a lucky beard. The launch went extremely well. We had a goal of having 240 students come through, and we had 360 students come through. So almost like,
Something different.
yeah, 120 different. So it's almost like, sports players that are very superstitious. And so they might wear the same socks in every game until they lose, or they might wear the same beard. So I'm going to keep the same beard until we have a losing launch. And anyway, I don't know if that's weird or not, but let's see. Love your recent push on YouTube. Brilliant ideas full of fresh surprises. How has this effort been going versus your original intent and objectives? My original intent on YouTube was literally just a place to put videos where I could teach tutorials, but not ever really trying to build a community, not ever being consistent with it. That's why a lot of my earlier videos are just like answers to people's questions, and they were completely random in terms of timing and subject. But lately, as you've noticed, I've been going into YouTube quite consistently here in 2020, 2 videos per week. And it's been really great. The community has been forming, getting to know each other. I've been seeing a lot more engagement. And honestly, I've just been having a lot more fun, being almost halfway forced to think about, okay, well, what fun, exciting thing could I do next? Right. Versus just like a leftover content that I want to publish. So that's been really cool.
How can I become an affiliate for your tripod?
How can you become an affiliate for my tripod? If you go to, thank you for asking that, by the way, switchpod.co/partners, I think. No, not that. Don't go there. Oh, I spelled SwitchPod wrong. So switchpod.co/partners. That's not it. Partner, maybe? Yeah, there it is. Switchpod.co/partner. And you can get, I think it's 10% right now, which is much higher than on Amazon. So switchpod.co/partner. Thanks, bud. I appreciate that. Let's see. What budget camera would you recommend for YouTube? I like the Sony RX10 Mark V, which you can get used because it's at the Mark VI level now. So just one generation behind will be nice. So Sony RX10 V or 5, and that'll cost you a few $100. Actually, that's the camera you have, the black one.
Yeah, I can grab it.
That's okay.
Okay.
It's almost time for your piano lesson anyway. But yeah, that one's great because it has all the best sort of automation features in terms of like lighting, and it's just very simple to use. You can get some really good quality. You can even shoot at higher frame rates so that you can get some really nice slow-mo stuff. And it's very reliable. It's also quite durable. It's a point-and-shoot camera. It's not a DSLR, meaning you'll have less things to buy, like accessories. You don't need a giant lens on the front like with a lot of other cameras. Let's see. Whoa, Chris, dude, what are you doing, man? Chris, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you. Blessings, Pat and family. Question. You have SPI, but you're also Pat Flynn. What is your strategy with personal branding versus working under a business name? I struggle if it's better to grow a business or grow a personal brand. Well, of course, you could do both, and that's kind of what I did in the beginning. Now I'm trying to turn SPI into something that could have a life of its own, because it definitely was a personal brand, such that even though it was called Smart Passive Income, if something happened to me, Smart Passive Income would just go away, right? Like it wouldn't be able to be what it is without me. And that's cool, but also scary, especially because I have bigger goals related to things like kids and education and other things I want to do. So that's where the patflynn.com stuff comes into play. Guys, why are you super chatting it up so much?
Says, hey, Pat.
Hold on. We're still on Chris. He paid 4 times more, so we're going to give him 4 times more attention, right? Anyway, but thank you for pointing that out. House of Films, thank you for that. Monopoly, I appreciate you. But when it comes to the business stuff, this is why I recently hired a team on Smart Passive Income. This is why you're starting to know who some of those team members are, so they can start to show up and start to show up for you and start to take control of it a little bit. Not that they're like owning part of my company, but just that the company can begin to run on its own. I would highly recommend a book called Clockwork. Clockwork by Mike Michalowicz, who also wrote Profit First. Anybody here read Profit First? Amazing book. Clockwork is great because it allows you to build your business in a way that it can work on its own. And the big thing there is he challenges you to try to get the business in a place to where you can remove yourself for 4 weeks and yet it still runs and grows. Can you imagine like a business growing, doing nothing for 4 weeks? That'd be cool, right?
Yeah, you could just relax.
You could just relax. But yeah, that's pretty amazing. What's up, Kevin? Kevin in the house, one of my accelerator students who's killing it with his new Lightbulb Moment website and brand. Just dude, I'm so excited for you, man. But yeah, that and the Pat Flynn stuff allows me to play around a little bit more, experiment, right? You'll see patflynn.com actually launched next week with a brand new theme, some brand new content, allowing me to talk about things that I don't really and shouldn't talk about on Smart Passive Income, such as technology and family and education and Tesla and all this other stuff. So I'm really excited about that. Love from India. Thank you. Let's go with the next super chat, House of Films. And Chris, let me know if that's helpful. And if you have follow-up questions, let me know. House of Films TV. Hey, Pat, updates on how the flashcard Hmong family is doing. I really want to publish some of for the Hausa language. I also run an online dictionary. Want a connection to them? Let me know. Hit me up, pat@patflynn.com. So different than my Smart Passive Income one. Pat@patflynn.com. Reach out to me. I can get you guys connected. I haven't heard from them in a while, but they're doing excellent. They're publishing books. They're doing flashcards for babies and kids. Isn't that cool? Like teaching another language, and then their product are like flashcards and things that they sell.
Oh,
And then
cool.
they could teach their kids how to speak different languages, which is really amazing. I haven't followed up with them in a while, so thank you. I think that that would be really great. The name of the book I mentioned earlier was Clockwork, like clockwork. Monoperty says, some pocket money for the children, Pat. Thanks for all you do. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. All the super chats, by the way, are definitely going to be put into a pile. First of all, I haven't gone live in so long here on YouTube. It's been over 2 years since doing that. Hopefully you're having fun and we're just doing some fun stuff together. I'd love to do this more, and I want to get more comfortable being live here on YouTube. And I know Roberto Blake does it. He's inspired me to do this, and a lot of other great creators on YouTube as well. I've been following a lot of Tesla creators. I've been really big into Tesla. I have a Model Y ordered. I'm waiting for the email confirmation to start that process. Wow, geez, you guys are insane. We will see what happens, man. When you provide value and you help people, they want to help you back, right? Like isn't this incredible? And we're just gonna give this money to probably actually later on. He and I are gonna choose a foundation to donate to. So I appreciate you guys for that. Let's see. We'll get to Alex in just a minute. I want to answer John. John says, other than posting more videos, what changes did you make to your YouTube channel that really took off? Buy your son and daughter ice cream with this money. Wow. So we got hot chocolate and ice cream coming your way. The biggest change was, how can I tell better stories? How can I hook people into the videos more? Because obviously watch time, if you're at all familiar with YouTube and what YouTube wants in terms of from creators, they want people to stay on the videos and have a longer session time. So hooking people in the beginning of your videos, right? To give people a reason to stay on.
Kind of like an essay.
Tell me more about that.
So, if you just put like random or start with like your first paragraph about something, people won't know what it's about, and it's not interesting. You're just reading a page.
So you're talking about an essay, and
you have to hook people.
So what's that first paragraph called?
The intro.
The intro.
And you have to have the hook and topic sentence.
Right.
About everything you're doing.
And that's even more important on YouTube for sure, because everybody's attention span here is quite low, right? Like we see a video, we're like, this isn't for me, I'm out. And that signals to YouTube that, hey, people aren't coming here and getting a lot of value. So Awesome Camera says, mic them up. Actually, you want to go and check to see if your piano lessons are, because it's actually, just say bye really quick to everybody.
Bye.
Thank you so much for being on, bud. Appreciate the value you just provided. Cool. I'm going to stick around for a while because we got another half hour until he's done. So they're still going? Okay. All right. So yeah, focusing on the hook and the story is good. And John here says, this was the one who asked that question, said, great answer from your son too. So yeah, I agree with you, man. Here, come here. Okay. D says, thanks for the email. Look out for one from Daxi. My audience would love to hear from you. Thanks, D. Appreciate it. Let's see. Hi from San Diego. As an industrial designer, entrepreneur, love the success of SwitchPod. Yeah, me too. It's kind of insane that's taken off. I make modern chess sets.
Whoa.
And other products. Is it possible to do crowdfunding without a team? Yes, totally. There's a lot of single solo creators who kickstart. You just have to have a great idea. I think it's important, however, to try and utilize at least a network or other people, other creators who might enjoy your product to help spread the word for you. But you can do it alone. It just takes a little bit more work. And on Kickstarter, remember Kickstarter, right? That's where we launched the SwitchPod. The video and the sort of bringing people in with you and making people feel like they're a part of the process with you is really important, bro.
Anthony Freeman.
Kevin.
Correct. Oh snap.
Oh, snap. Kevin, dude.
Oh, wow.
You're amazing, man. Thank you. Alex says, for all the good you're spreading in this world, thank you, Pat. Man, I got to go live. I'm making more money on the Super Chat than I am with my videos that I've been pumping a lot of time into. So thank you, Kevin. I appreciate you. And Alex, you're the man. Do this more. I love interacting with you and hearing live Q&A. Thank you. Teaston says, what was my first car? My first car was a 1996 Toyota Tacoma pickup.
I need to go.
All right. Bye. So yeah, Toyota Tacoma pickup, which unfortunately got in I wrecked it. I wrecked it. It was poor driving on me in a rainstorm here in San Diego 2 weeks before my wedding. That was the story. I want to go live weekly now, says, yeah, Dan, this would be a good idea. Alex says, practice your scales, piano teacher here. Thank you, Alex. Wow, I'm just kind of blown away from the super chats that came in. Please don't feel the need to pay me anything. You've already paid me back so much by being a subscriber, by supporting and all that stuff. Let's see what else we got. Saw you come into your keynote in the DeLorean in Vegas a few years back, says Awesome Cameras. Wow, that brings back memories. 2015 Vegas, I came out on stage in a DeLorean. I had to, right? Not just because I'm a super Back to the Future nerd, which I don't even know if you see this shirt. Can you guys get Back to the Future? TARDIS, right? Time travel. But it was the 30th year anniversary of Back to the Future, and it was the year that Marty McFly went into the future in Back to the Future 2. So it just made sense. So actually, it worked out, but I wouldn't recommend doing what I did in that presentation. I would always recommend getting a DeLorean. But what I mean is I started with that, and then I created a talk around that. And that's backwards, right? That's pretty selfish of me, but I definitely made it worthwhile. I talked about why businesses, how to future-proof your business, why businesses fail, and why some still survive through technology and changes. So yeah. Wow, that brings back a lot of memories. Let's see, what other questions are here? Kevin, you're the man. Bye, buddy. Practice your scales. Chris says, can you make a video sharing what your setup is in terms of your live streams? It's very clear. Yeah, actually, I'm using a Logitech 4K camera. What is this camera, by the way? This is a Logitech Brio, Brio. So that's the camera. It's not even a DSLR. I have a DSLR and a monitor over there for when I film YouTube videos and stuff here at the house. Man, this beard is lucky. Look at all those super chats coming in. Like, I gotta keep this beard for a while. Beyond the Guitar says, digging the beard. Yeah, me too. You know, I spent, I think, over an hour yesterday watching YouTube videos about beard care, and I never thought that would happen. First of all, I never thought this would happen. But spending time, and there's, wow, I found Alpha Male. I found literally a beard channel. And I'm getting jealous of those dudes with really really nice beards. And now I'm like, I got to get some balm, I got to get some oil and all this stuff. It is really itchy, and I want to rip my face off. But other than that, I'm enjoying the response so far. Kevin says, thank you for being you, Pat. Love how you always back great causes. I have the best income month of my life. I'm sure you'll send this somewhere awesome. Thank you, Kevin, and congrats to you, man. Lightbulbmoment.com. Regina, hey Regina, thank you for being here. I appreciate you. I love seeing your comments on my videos as well. I recognize you. You're inspiring. Thanks for all the knowledge. I'd love to have you on my Will Within podcast. Emailed you. Be blessed. Thank you. And we do respond to those. It takes time. I get a lot of requests, just FYI. So I mean, there's probably hundreds, but we're gonna make our way through. Plus, I have some stuff launching later in the year that I'd love to be a guest on other people's show to share and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, John says it makes you look at least 25 now. Yeah. What did I look like before? That's my question. Going back to Chris's question, because I didn't want to skip over that. We got the Logitech Brio. It's the 4K version of the C920 that a lot of people have had. Then I have a window open in front of me. Window. So that's providing some natural light. But you see this light coming in here? Lighting trick. Upper, pointing down at you to create a little shadow underneath the chin. So you could see how there's shadow on this side. It rounds out the face really nicely. This light here is, it's going to look like a lightsaber, by the way. This should have been my thumbnail. This is called a ice light. Ice light. And it provides a really nice, strong LED that is sort of in a nice long. It's really long, right? So it provides a lot of like, oh my gosh, it almost fell. Anyway, it's providing that nice light here. So I'm getting a nice wash light on this side, so it's not super cinematic here. And then these little lights back here is just string lights I got from Target for like $10, and they just add a little bit of character, right? And that's it. It's nothing really super crazy. Hi Pat, I want to create a side job that makes $2K a month. What would you suggest? I do eBay and Amazon, and I could do it there. Do you have any other advice? Yeah, Kenneth, I think that I would consider $2K a month and how you would want to make that, what makes sense for you. Meaning you could potentially, take a skill that you have and coach somebody to learn that skill. And imagine charging one person and teaching them how to do that for $2,000 a month. Like the math, you could do it that way, or you could teach 200 people something at $10 a month, for example. There's many different ways to sort of to make that happen. I'm just looking at these super chats here, and I'm just like blown away. That doesn't make any sense to me. You guys are incredible. This is not why I came on, by the way, but they will all go to a really great foundation that my son and I are going to determine later. This was just completely unexpected. If you're doing eBay and Amazon, I would consider finding, and there's a ton of experts out there, both on YouTube and in the blogosphere, people who are really amazing in those worlds. For example, Scott Volker, the amazing seller. I'd follow him, and I don't know if you're doing this already, but niching into a space within the eBay or Amazon communities would be really great. This is what I'm seeing from a lot of people who are really doing amazing things on those platforms. They are finding a niche and they're sort of owning it. They're creating products. They're white labeling products. I even know some people who are making 6 figures a year profit doing arbitrage on Amazon. So what that means is literally going to places like Walmart and Target and other places with clearance sales and using the app, the Amazon Seller app that you can use to literally scan items and see, well, how much are they going for on Amazon? If you want to listen to a great episode 99 of the Smart Passive Income podcast talks about that. And it really actually helped a lot of people. That was a podcast episode with Jessica and Cliff LaRue from the Selling family. And that helped a lot of people start their careers. It was pretty amazing in the Amazon FBA space. Now they do a lot more wholesale stuff, a lot more bulk things versus just going and doing arbitrage at Target. It does work. I've tried it myself. I took my son one day. We scanned the app. We've made about $50 because I wasn't going to go all in with it. It does take work. It does take time, but it can happen. Very similar to, I don't know if y'all been seeing Gary Vee do a lot of the sort of yard sale stuff. That's really interesting to me, right? It's like, why would this guy who's this rock star entrepreneur go to yard sales? And I think he's just proving a point that like there is money out there to be made, and it's just right there every weekend. You just have to know where to look. You have to take action, and I love that. I think a lot of people misinterpret why he's doing that, and then he's finding Beanie Babies, he's finding basketball cards, baseball cards, and he's selling those for a higher price. Mugs are a big thing apparently in that world, but there's money to be made, right? So I think that's really cool. Let's see. There's some weird conversations happening here. Hold on. Just reporting somebody. Cool. Thoughts on the drop shipping model business? There's pros and cons, right? Like drop shipping is great because you never have to touch the product. But being now a product creator myself, somebody who's created a physical product, I mean, there's something to be said for actually touching the product, getting your hands on it, understanding it. I find it very hard to, although I know many people are very successful with this. I find it hard to consciously, for myself, and this is just me, sell something that I haven't even touched before, right? And I understand that, and sometimes you don't want to, have to deal with inventory, but at least getting some prototypes and stuff that you could sort of get your hands on and share with people and get feedback on. But the SwitchPod was a 2-year process, and now it feels like drop shipping, right? We sell it on SwitchPod.co or on Amazon, and we have a fulfillment center that ships it out for us. So essentially it is drop shipping right now, but it took a while to get there. I think just trying to get into a space and promote some random product is very difficult, especially because mentally you're not tied to the success of the customer that they had. Like the happiness of the customer when they receive that product is less so when you aren't so attached to the product. And I've tried business models before, especially back in 2009, 2010, when a lot of people were doing the thing where they were promoting affiliate products, then paying for keywords on Google and sending traffic through there. I literally sold a couple $100s of product in that way. And I just was like, I don't even know who these customers are. I don't even know if they're enjoying the product. I don't even like, I'm just the middleman. And I think that you could do a lot better by becoming the man. $24 and a half. Let's see. What other questions you got? I have more than one. Robert says, I'm from the Dominican Republic and I'm currently coordinating a group of local podcasters who started their trip last year. What message would you send us? I would say get very clear on who should be listening to your show, because there are now in this world, there's a lot of podcasts coming out. We have so many options. And I think when people find their show, they get attached to it, right? And we need to work a lot harder as podcasters to have it be so clear that when you discover a new show that you're like, this is for me. Like, I feel like this podcast was created for me. That's when you really start to get interested with that's where you really start to get a sense of super fans and people coming on to listen and enjoy you and show up live to your streams when you create one. It's just really amazing. So Angel says, whoa, I just saw you move your mic around and no handling sound. There's some sound. I hear some squeaking, like from down there. Thank you, I guess. Let's see. How can I make a clothing line, says Drip and Shine? Well, I would start with really defining who your clothes are going to be for. I know a person who's actually in the middle of creating a clothing line right now, and she and I have been working together, and we've been really trying to focus on, well, who is this for? And because that affects everything, right? It affects who you reach out to, who you might partner with. It affects, the designs of the clothes and what people might or might not respond to. So who is it that you're providing clothes for? And what are they like? What would they like to represent? That really matters when it comes to what it is that you end up producing. And I think that what you could do to start out is start small through a validation process. Maybe get some things done on Teespring first, for example, or work with somebody who might be able to create a couple items for you without going big first. That way, if you fail, at least it's in a small little controlled manner and not in a place where there's going to be a huge downfall, right? Like, you don't need to order hundreds of inventory items right now. Why don't you just start with some prototypes, share it, get a feel for it, talk to customers, provide it to a few people and get some feedback right away. And I think that could help determine whether or not you're going in the right direction or not. And also what I love about that, I love creating businesses live while creating those businesses, right? Because it gets people to really feel like they're a part of the story. Guess what happened with SwitchPod? People knew about it 2 years before it was finally sold. So of course, when it finally was prototyped and it was sold on Kickstarter, people already knew it existed. I had done the marketing for 2 years by bringing people in on the process. And that process was going to YouTuber events and sharing prototypes with them. It was sharing on YouTube here and on my blog what the process was like. going onto my podcast and just talking about all the struggles we were having. I think that really made people feel connected to the product, so that when we promoted it on Kickstarter, we ended up doing very well. We sold nearly 5,000 of them, and we had made $415,000, and it was definitely not. It wouldn't have been done without those relationships that were built with people who were following along, and in addition to that, the people that we connected with who did have influence. And I got to give a big shout out to my good friend Peter McKinnon. Any Peter McKinnon fans here in the crowd, let me know in the chat. He just came out with a really interesting video the other day about hiring people on Fiverr. Actually, I recommend it. It's really funny, actually, and really enlightening. Anyway, Peter's amazing, and he had gotten behind the Switch Pod. We showed it to him at an event. He loved it. He wanted to take it with him. We couldn't give it to him. It was our only one, so we sent him one. We actually had another prototype made just for him. It cost over $1,000 to make. But once we knew he wanted it, and he was so graceful with his time, and he really was excited about the product, which gave us the green light to keep going with it. So we owed him, and we just sent him another one for free, and we were like, no expectations. You don't have to do anything with this. You don't even have to use it. We just want to thank you. And of course, he went around and created an 8-minute video about how it was the GorillaPod killer, and it was beautiful. We were blown away. I mean, he definitely helped take the successful podcast and sort of launch it into the stratosphere for us. So big shout out and thank you to Peter. Hey, did you answer my question, Pat? Says Desmond. I don't know. I might have missed it. Let me look up. Desmond, where are you at, dude? Hey, Pat. I don't know what business I should start. I feel I'm not an expert in anything. Okay, so here's the truth about being an expert. You don't have to be an expert. Let me prove it to you. I started a website about how to start a food truck. That was in 2014, 2015. I got it to a point where it was making a few $1,000s a month, and just last month I sold it. I don't have a food truck. Would you say that I'm an expert in a food truck? No. Here's the positioning I took. I took the position of I'm going to be the expert curator of this information in the food truck world for people. So I took the position of I don't know anything about food trucks, but I'm going to find out anything I can, and I'm going to connect with successful food truck owners and curate that information. That means recording interviews with successful food truck owners so I can capture those amazing tips and strategies and share them on the Food Trucker School podcast. So I can take all their marketing strategies and then pop them on foodtrucker.com and share that valuable information for people. Take all that information that I've learned about business plans, about what it might take to start a food truck in terms of cost and equipment, and put it all in a book that I'm going to sell and call it the Food Trucker Kit. And then that ended up selling over 5 figures worth of stuff over time. And so you don't have to be an expert. You just have to be somebody who has the ability to collect information that can help people. I want to point out a friend of mine, Adam Baker, who had been the creator of a website called manversusdebt.com, one of the most, back in the early 2010s, successful financial bloggers. He ended up selling that website and going to do great other things. But here, Scott, thank you for that, man. Like, I really need that advice. It is literally itchy, and I want to rip my face off. And I don't know. What do you guys think? Keep the gray? I was a little surprised to see there was some gray in here. Keep the gray, or should I color it? I don't even know if that's a thing. Anyway. Cooking with Kibby here says, to be an expert, you only have to know more than the other person who you are serving. And along those same lines, people would rather learn from somebody who is just a few steps ahead of them versus somebody who's way in the stratosphere. Because guess what? And I have the numbers to prove it. People downloaded the episode with Shane and Jocelyn Sams. You might not even know who those people are. They're 2 people in the SPI community in Team Flynn who started their business, and they're just like all of us. They were a teacher and a football coach from Kentucky, working 9 to 5, and they quit and they started this business. Now they're millionaires. That episode has been downloaded more than the episodes with Gary Vaynerchuk and Tim Ferriss combined. So that just shows you that you don't need to be an expert. You just need to know more and care more and help somebody. Excuse me. Let's keep going here. Business concept. I'm doing a lot of free real estate content, investment, and community right now. I have thought of creating a course that incorporates the same info, thus time saver thoughts. Yeah, I mean, why not? I think it's proven. There are courses out there like that already, Rich, I would imagine. However, you need to determine, okay, well, what special sauce, what superpower are you going to put into those courses that other people aren't going to do, or they just don't have that expertise on? And I think that's really important to nail down, because what's going to happen is when people come to the sales page, they're going to go, okay, Rich, well, why you? Why not the other person? Why is this important to me is the other important factor. So, what's in it for them? What's the benefit? What can real estate do for them? I think a common mistake that people have when they create courses is, here is a course to help you learn email marketing. Here's a course to help you learn how to podcast. And that's what you're selling. Nobody, yes, they want to learn how to podcast, for example, but that's not ultimately what they want. They want to spread their message. They want to grow their impact and influence online. And I teach how to do that with podcasting, right? So you have to understand what the benefits are, so that you can really nail people for really nail that message for what people really want. I mean, people ultimately only buy for a few reasons, and it all really comes down to survival, right? So, whether it's going to make them more money, whether it's going to help them, in authority, whether it's going to be something that, you guys are ridiculous. Oh my gosh. Whether it's going to be something that allows for them to have a heightened status, safety, just basic needs in life, food. Kibby here says, I'm imagining a membership site where I teach families how to cook together. What would you pay for something like that? Good question. And I know that, and I'm sorry I hadn't been able to reply to you yet, Kibby, on Instagram, but I've just been really busy. But I'll speak to that a little bit. I'm asking because I have a friend who has a cooking channel, and she's interested in helping kids out. And I think there's room for multiple of these, because I think that families do need to cook more together, and they need to have some real healthy food. And I, the answers I was getting was anywhere between, $30 to $50 a month, all the way up to $99 a month. And I think that's really amazing. I think that that's something that is definitely an opportunity out there. I think the biggest thing is just understanding from the customer's point of view with families. Like, families are busy. Cooking is not often very safe. How are you gonna help with that? Knife skills, for example. But I think that there are some opportunities out there for sure. Helen says, I'm from Dublin, Ireland. Thank you for being my VeroCan team, even if you did not know you were on it. I did not know that, but launching Monday. Congratulations to you, Helen. Good luck with you. Good luck to you. How much would you say you invested into SwitchPod? 2 years of time, but not all the time, right? Not every day, 8 hours a day kind of thing. It was in spurts as far as time. I'll talk about money in just a second. But in terms of time, there were moments where it was like, we're all in on this. We're prototyping. We're investigating. We're experimenting. We're designing. We're going to events and talking to people. I mean, in some cases, we were 3 days straight at YouTube events sharing prototypes with people, and that was real work. That was hardcore experimentation and validation. And then other times we were like, okay, well, we gave the design to the engineer to 3D print, and we're just kind of like looking at our watch doing nothing. And so it was a lot of like on and off, on and off, on and off along the way. And that was very new to me, because in business with online stuff, it's like you can have it be a little bit more constant. Every day you're cracking away at it. There's always something to be done or improved. And with the SwitchPod, it was like a lot of go and then stop and wait, and then go and stop and wait. And that was hard. I had to learn how to be very patient with that. I think it paid off, obviously, but there are many cases where even if it didn't pay off, I would imagine that it would still be very, very useful and very informational to help determine the best path forward moving forward after that. In terms of money, I think Caleb and I have in total invested. So during the 2-year period between idea to prototype and the Kickstarter launch, I would imagine that we had spent about $25,000. But it wasn't all up front. It wasn't like, hey, here's $25,000. Like, let's hope for the best. It was like, hey, let's spend like $100 on a 3D printed prototype and start there. And then we went to a YouTube event, a little bit of money to go to that event. And then we gave it to people and we just talked to them. And that's where the time came in. And we got it back and we're like, okay, we need to make more changes. Okay, we'll put out another $100 in because everybody was saying they liked it, but they didn't like this and they didn't like that. So let's try another version. And then we waited, and then we got another one, made a few changes, invested some more money in more prototypes. Then over time, we had to, invest in a website, invest in, then we moved into sort of like from plastic to metal materials, and we wouldn't have done that from the beginning, right? So we got green light after green light after green light, and then and only then did we allow ourselves to be comfortable paying and investing to keep going. First of all, Pramanic Astrology Channel, thank you so much. Sending you high vibes. You changed my life. Sending you high vibes. Love and peace. Cheers. Team Flynn for the win. Appreciate you for that. I am interested in your channel because in addition to all the Tesla videos I've been watching on YouTube, I've been watching a lot of SpaceX videos. And so I'm curious to know what your thoughts are on SpaceX and the Starship that's going to be launched pretty soon and sending humans into space from America again, first time in a while, and potentially creating a moon base and going to Mars and all that stuff. By the way, let me know in the chat. I'm curious. If you had a ticket for free to go to Mars, would you go? I'm just very curious. I'm still on 50-50. Like, if you could go to Mars, would you go? And the second follow-up question is, what if it was a one-way trip? You knew that you went there, but it was safe, but you were leaving Earth for good. I don't know what I would do. XFit and Fitness, SwitchPod, Tripod, and Ballhead owner here. Hey, props to you. Thank you so much for that. Keeps the gray, gives character like Rand. I like Rand. Okay, I like that. SEO for YouTube. Most important thing, just keywords in the title, keyword in the description in the first paragraph, tags. And what I would recommend doing is looking up videos before you hit publish that are similar to yours. I use a tool called vidIQ, which is really great, as well as TubeBuddy, and a fellow San Diego company here, to just make sure that I'm targeting all the right keywords. It works sometimes, and sometimes it just feels like it's not working at all. And if you look up how to start a podcast on YouTube, you'll see my video there, and that's really great. That's providing a lot of video views for sure. And on the flip side, there's videos that I really work hard to try and find the right keywords. And even though I'm targeting everything in the right way, it's not ranking at all. And I think a lot of that also has to do with watch time, because it's not just the metadata that you include with your videos. It's how people respond to the videos. How engaged are people after they watch your video or during? How much watch time is included in those videos? And of course, YouTube, what they're going to do is they're going to rank higher the ones that have higher rank time, higher watch time, and more engagement. Let's see. Year 2020, humans to Mars. That would be amazing. If there was Wi-Fi, absolutely. Hey, Starlink might be a thing during that time. I don't know if they would put a Starlink on Mars. I'm sure they would. Let's see. We just installed Fusebox. How can we get the most out of it as we drive our podcast listeners to our website? Well, you can, if you have places where people can subscribe to an email list, you can use the Fusebox track player to have people subscribe to either your show or something else during that time. I would recommend that, really it's there to capture those who find you on your website first, then go to Apple Podcasts. I wouldn't recommend just trying to keep people on your website. Always try to get people to subscribe to your podcast on their preferred podcast platform. That way, everything's automated after that. But in terms of your website, I think that using your show notes to sell clicking play. Does that make sense? So use your show notes to not just summarize the podcast, but be very clear with, especially in those first few paragraphs, why they need to click play on the website. They're there on the website. They're likely going to find it through search or just browsing around your website. That's where you really want to have people go in and be convinced that, okay, I need to click play on this. And from there, then you can have them, subscribe on the podcast platforms that they want to be on. Quick question from Devin. We're launching a health and wellness company in the next quarter. We've been a long road building and getting government approval on all of our products. Do you have any tips or advice? Build that list now. Get people excited about it. Try to use other people, influencers, if you want to call them that. I hate that word, but you know what I mean. People who you trust, who use the product, not just people you pay to say something, but try to get people to use it and honestly and authentically get behind it with you. I think that would be really amazing. But building that email list up front as it's coming out, kind of rewarding those people in some way, shape, or form for being early adopters is really great. And I think that that's the most important thing to me, is just getting the word out as soon as possible. There's no use in waiting to make that happen. Reggie says, read the one-way ticket to Mars question. Puts into perspective what first-generation immigrants had to think. Yeah, right? Because most of them didn't consider the fact that they might have an option to come back, which is pretty crazy. Did you see Tesla dropped? Are you buying more stock? Yes, I am. Opinion on TikTok. I think it's a really incredible time suck, but it's really exciting because a lot of people are building their audiences there, which is really cool. Just similar to how people did it on Vine. Very difficult for just business owners who don't have any entertainment factor to get on there and actually make use of it. But if you have a brand, especially a personal one, it's a nice touch point in addition to other touch points to offer value, to entertain, to build a relationship with your audience. I also think it's really interesting that anybody could create a video that could go viral on there, and it doesn't even have to be good. I created a video where I was dancing, and literally 250,000 people found it. There's nothing I could do with that other than just go, what the heck? I'm spending way more time on my YouTube videos, and I'm not getting as many views. It's a different kind of view, right? So just keep that in mind. But I think that it's really interesting and worth paying attention to, but not necessarily worth maybe like a ton of time, unless your target demographic is there for sure. Dan says, I'm finally going through PUP. Goal is to help people create better content for their audience. PUP, by the way, is Power Up Podcasting. Focus is mostly video, but open to other forms. Should my show name be niche to video or more general? I think your show name should identify an audience member that would like you for what it is that you know you're going to offer them. So it doesn't necessarily have to say video in it, but it is an important thing. It's, you imagine people listen, but before a person listens to any of your podcasts, they're seeing your podcast first. So the title and then the artwork is really important, Dan. So I would recommend, if it is specifically for video people, like it is going to be targeted for video people, then I would absolutely have that be a part of your title. But if it's for a more general audience, which may not be the best way to go because there are riches in the niches for sure. I think that then maybe you can go a little bit more broad, and then in the description, in the title, and in the not in the title, in the tagline, and on your show, it might just be skewed toward video people, but it could potentially be open for more. And you can always change things over time too, which is really neat. All right, I'm going to answer a few more questions here. These are great. I hope you guys have been enjoying this, Team Flynn. I don't do this very often. And I just did this because I had some time to kill before my kids' piano lessons are over. They're in the other room right now getting piano lessons. And so I've really enjoyed this. I would love to make this a weekly thing. I would love to chat with you more and get the community even more engaged here. I think it's a lot of fun. I'm going to pick 2 or 3 more questions to answer, and then I'm going to peace out, and then I'll come back later. So I appreciate you. Let's see. I'm going to answer Gary. Gary in the house. What's up, Gary? My in-person team building biz is doing well. Any pointers on bringing it online? I feel like this facilitated experience won't translate online, or maybe it's a limiting belief. Here, you had some words in there that always trigger things for me, and not in a bad way, but just hear me out. I feel like this XYZ, or maybe it's XYZ, or I have this belief. You got to find the truth as fast as you can. Right. So if you can possibly in a small experiment, try to do this once. So you're asking the question, how does this translate online? Try it online once in a small controlled manner. Be upfront with somebody and say, this is the first time I'm doing this. I'd love to do this for you for either a discounted price or for free, so that you can give me information about whether or not this is something that actually works for you or not. Thus giving you information, Gary, as to whether or not you should even bother thinking about this anymore, or you should devote more time and resources into it. Cool. Beanie says, Beanie Jaws, Pat, do you think a certain event that's happening worldwide right now that gets demonetized whenever mentioned is going to have much of an impact on YouTube and an online business? So this is I would imagine the virus that's going around, if that's what you mean. And yeah, I think you just framed that so that you wouldn't say that word. And I appreciate you sort of trying to avoid that. What's up, CJ? CJ in the house, follow him. He's doing some amazing things, including flipping. You are flipping crazy because you are just incredible. Literally flipping, by the way. But is it going to have much of an impact on YouTube and online business? I think it's having an impact on everybody right now. I think more psychologically than anything. We're seeing it in stock market, obviously, and stock market's very sensitive to these kinds of things. And it's kind of a herd mentality with a lot of this stuff. I would say that I can't speak to what you in particular, you watching this, should do related to this. Obviously, be safe, wash your hands, and just use common sense. But at the same time, I think in terms of how it affects online business and YouTube, I can also see it. I can see it serving that space more. And the reason is because I've even seen things like in-person meetings being canceled, so that meeting and more meetings on Zoom being had. Right. Of all the stocks that have been going down, guess which one has been going up? Zoom. Why do you think? Because people are feeling a lot safer on a platform like that. And I think that when it comes to business, there are many things that can be done in person that may be taken online as a result of this. But yeah. Hello/Go says, what was your response if someone asked you about your personal experience owning a food truck without you owning one yourself? Number one, I was always upfront about that first, so people weren't like, never felt duped. But secondly, if somebody asked me about that, I would say, yeah, I never owned a food truck myself, but I learned everything I could about it so that I could make an informed decision whether it was right for me or not. And I found that it wasn't right for me because I couldn't devote enough time to it. But I did a lot of research. I spoke to a lot of food truck owners, and I have distilled that information in a way where, should I choose to ever want to do that, I could do it right. And here's that information for you too. What are your suggestions for building a lifestyle channel blog? Put as much of your personality into it as possible. There are so many of those kinds of blogs, right? So what's going to make you stand out? Guess what? Nobody's like you. You are 100% original. So use that to your advantage. Hey, bud. You guys, are you done? Okay, go back out. I'll be out in a sec. And that's the last question. My kids are done with piano lessons. You're amazing. Thank you so much for being here, Team Flynn, for watching my videos, for subscribing, and just for all the support. And the super chats. Kevin, one more time with a $300 super chat. Wow. You're incredible. I hope to do this more. I hope that maybe my beard might stick around for a while if it just stops being itchy. And Angel says, see you at Screw Live. I will see you tomorrow at Screw Live. Social Media Marketing World is happening in San Diego this weekend, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. I'm looking forward to seeing perhaps some of you there. And stay safe, stay happy, stay healthy. And as always, Team Flynn for the win. Peace.